You know, there are few people enough in the world whose hard, sour faces will soften at sight of you, and a distinctly friendly light come into their green eyes. For myself, I find such people few indeed. So the profane old woman and I are fond of each other. No question of morals or of immorals comes between us. We are equals. I talk to her a little, but mostly she talks. She tells me of the time when she lived in County Galway, when she was young, and of her several husbands, and of some who were not husbands, and of her children scattered over the earth. And she shows me old tintypes of these people. She has told me the varied tale of her life a great many times. I like to hear her tell it. It is like nothing else I have heard. The story in its unblushing simplicity, the sour-faced old woman sitting telling it, and the tintypes, contain a thing that is absurdly, grotesquely, tearlessly sad. Once when I went to her house I brought with me 6 immense, heavy, fragrant chrysanthemums. They had been bought with the $3 I had stolen. It pleased me to buy them for the profane old woman. They pleased her also, not because she cares much for flowers, but because I brought them to her. I knew they would please her, but that was not the reason I gave her them. I did it purely and simply to please myself. I knew the profane old woman would not be at all concerned as to whether they had been bought with stolen money or not, and my only regret was that I had not had an opportunity to steal a larger sum so that I might have bought more chrysanthemums without inconveniencing my purse. But as it was, they filled her dirty little dwelling with perfume and color. Long ago, when I was 6, I was a thief. Only I was not then, as now, a graceful, light-fingered thief. I had not the philosophy of stealing. When I would steal a copper cent out of my mother's pocketbook, I would feel a dreadful, suffocating sinking in my bad heart, and for days and nights afterwards, long after I had eaten the chocolate mousse, the copper cent would haunt me and haunt me, and oh, how I wished it back in that pocketbook with the clasp shut tight and the bureau drawer locked. And so is it not finer to be 19 and a thief, with the philosophy of stealing, than to be 6 and haunted day and night by a copper cent? For now always my only regret is when I have stolen $5, that I did not steal 10 while I was about it. It is a long time ago since I was 6. February 17th. Today I walked over the hill where the sun vanishes down in the afternoon. I followed the sun so far as I could, but 2 even very good legs can do no more than carry one into the midst of the sunshine, and then one may stand and take leave lovingly of it. I stood in the valley below the hill and looked away at the gold-yellow mountains that rise into the cloudy blue, and at the long gray stretches of rolling sand. It all reminded me of the Devil and the happiness he will bring me. Some day the Devil will come to me and say, "Come with me," and I will answer yes. And he will take me away with him to a place where it is wet and green, where the yellow, yellow sunshine falls on heaven-kissing hills, and misty, cloudy masses float over the valleys. And for days I shall be happy, happy, happy. For days the Devil and I will love each other intensely, perfectly, for days. He will be incarnate, but he will not be a man. He will be the man-devil, and his soul will take mine to itself, and they will be one for days. Imagine me raised out of my misery and obscurity, dullness and nothingness, into the full, brilliant life of the Devil for days. The love of the man-devil will enter into my barren, barren life and melt all the cold, hard things, and water the barrenness, and a million little green growing plants will start out of it, and a clear, sparkling spring will flow over it through the dreary, sandy stretches of my bitterness, among the false, stony roads of my pain and hatred, and a great, rushing, flashing cataract of melting love will flow over my weariness and unrest and wash it away forever. My soul will be fully awakened, and there will be a million little sweet new souls in the growing green things. And they will fill my life with everything that is beautiful, tenderness and divineness and compassion and exaltation and uplifting grace and light and rest and gentleness and triumph and truth and peace. My life will be born far out of self, and self will sink quietly out of sight, and I shall see it farther and farther away until it disappears. It is the last of that merry MacLane, I will say, and I will feel a long, sighing, quivering farewell. 1,000 years of misery, and now 1,000,000 years of happiness. When the sun is setting in the valley, and the crests of those heaven-kissing hills are painted violet and purple, and the valley itself is reeking and swimming in yellow gold light, the man-devil, whom I love more than all, and I will go out into it. We will be saturated in the yellow light of the sun and the golden light of love. The man-devil will say to me, "Look, you little creature, at this beautiful picture of joy and happiness. It is the picture of your life as it will be while I am with you, and I am with you for days." Ah, yes, I will take a last long farewell of this Mary MacLane. Not one faint shadow of her weary, wretched nothingness will remain. There will be instead a brilliant, buoyant, joyous creature, transformed, adorned, garlanded by the love of the devil. My mind will be a treasure house of art, swept and garnished and strong and at its best. My barren, hungry heart will come at last to its own. The red flames of the man-devil's love will burn out forever its pitiable, distorted wooden quality, and he will take it and cherish it, and give me his. My young woman's body likewise will be metamorphosed, and I shall feel it developing and filling with myriads of little contentments and pleasures. Always my young woman's body is a great and important part to me, and when I am married to the devil, its finely organized nerve power and intricate sensibility will be culminated to marvelous completeness. My soul, upon my soul, will descend consciously the light that never was on land or sea. This will be for days, for days. No matter what came before, I will say, no matter what comes afterward. Just now it is the man-devil, my beloved, and I living in the yellow light. Thinking of living with the devil in a bare little house in the midst of green wetness and sweetness and yellow light for days. In the gray dawn it will be ineffably sweet and beautiful, with shining leaves and the gray unfathomable air and the wet grass and all. Be happy now, my weary little wife, the devil will say, and the long, long yellow gold day will be filled with the music of real life. My grandest possibility will be realized. The world contains a great many things, and this is my grandest possibility realized. I will weep rapturous tears. When I think of all this and write it, there is in me a feeling that is more than pain. Perhaps the very sweetest, the tenderest, the most pitiful and benign human voice in the world could sing these things, and this feeling set to their own wondrous music, and it would echo far, far, and you would understand. End of Part 8.